I can't take any more. I'm caring for my father day and night in what I think is the terminal phase of the disease, because he's confined to bed. I have to feed and change him. It's just as well we have a live-in carer, because she's a great help. Otherwise, I'd never manage. But I often think I'm wasting my life. I wonder whether it's right that I should keep him at home, or whether there might be a more suitable facility. Perhaps home isn't the best place for him any longer. What do you advise?
Basically, what you're asking me there is whether the time has come to move your father to a nursing home. Well, there are no medical rules about this decision. It's a choice for the next of kin to make, depending on their own capabilities to provide care, really. Some families, for example, have sufficient human and financial resources to care for the patient right through to their last days, if you like, their last breath. But this means creating a miniature nursing home and reorganizing your home around the patient's room. In other words, you would need a bed with an anti-bedsore mattress. You'd need an enteral feeding pump. 2, 3 or 4 paid carers that would all be working shifts. You'd need a nurse coming in 2, 3 or 4 times a day, and the doctor's visits. But of course, this is not always feasible, and generally the average family is unable to afford or provide all this. So the decision as to when to move the patient to a nursing home is a very personal one, which varies from family to family. Every family has to talk things over frankly and in depth and detail and decide when the time is right for the patient to be moved to a care facility.
But I tried to mention this option to my father, and when I mentioned the words nursing home, his response was a clear refusal.
Well, I imagine you got the same response from your father when you suggested hiring a live-in carer, did you?
Yes, definitely. That's how it was. He absolutely refused. We were at our wits' end. Then my mother gradually tried to talk him round, and in the end it worked out fine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, as the disease progresses, the patient tends to lose the capacity to take important decisions about his life. In other words, he loses the ability to take big decisions, major decisions. And when this happens, the next of kin have to decide for him. Now, sometimes a legally recognized guardian is appointed to take big decisions for the patient about their financial affairs or their place of residence. But in most cases, it's the family members that have to take on this responsibility. Now, in these circumstances, asking for or expecting the patient's approval is pretty unthinkable. The decision has to be taken by the family and then conveyed to the patient very tactfully, not directly, as we would with someone whose faculties were unimpaired. You can't just say, look, you can't do this or that anymore. We can't cope any longer, so we're moving you to a place where there'll be people capable of looking after you. Because the patient can't understand all the implications of this decision, can't understand its reasons or its consequences. So the family members have to get the message across by different, often indirect channels, which work on the emotions rather than on rational thinking. In fact, leaving rationality out of it altogether, because this is a complex, sensitive procedure in which the family member's ability to establish emotional communication with the patient deep down without using cognitive or linguistic channels is central. I think that to find the best way of conveying this decision to your father and finding the right strategy, it would be best for you to talk to other family members or even relatives associations, which have been set up in most of Italy's biggest towns. So talking to other people who have had to deal with the same situation may well be very helpful to you.
Confrontarsi con altre persone che sono state nelle stesse circostanze potrebbe essere utile.